Diddy is a marked man, as is rap music, as is hip hop, as is the hip hop community. Throughout our history, we have been told, and there have been great indications, that the powers that be have wanted to systematically eliminate huge swaths of the black community. It's been suggested that crack was perfused and uh, sent into, proliferated into the black community, and crack almost destroyed the inner city, almost destroyed it single-handedly. Crack. Heroin was one thing. We're talking about not the black community, talking about urban, lower income. But nothing did it like crack. Crack was superb. It was lethal. It destroyed lives, dreams, and you had to ask yourself, why? What was the purpose for that? What was the purpose? Why did the government want to destroy black folks? So exactly what it was. And then later on, people like Joe Biden and others clamored and screamed and yelled that they wanted more crimes, harder penalties for crack versus powder. Why? Because powder cocaine was the province of white folks and white kids and Wall Streeters and not crack. Why? There's been a history forever of how the black community, especially when the black community gets out of control, gets too prosperous, gets too big for its britches, they have a way of bringing them back down. And look what's going to happen to hip hop. There's something that bothers folks, the shadow government, a lot. Sports stars are one thing. At least we could say, well, there's a meritocracy. Well, there was, at least you could say, when it comes to whether white, black, or whatever, people are really just that good. But there's something that always bothered people about the Diddys and the Suge Knights and the even folks like Jay-Z and others. This did not settle. I remember when Jay-Z was one night partying with Warren Buffett. I'm thinking, is anybody believing this? Is anybody really believing this story? So what are they doing now? All of a sudden, they're going after Diddy. Why? And as someone here wrote, Diddy did not commit suicide. Why now? Why? And if you think he's good, no. There are others who've got the worried look. What is the purpose of this? What do you think is the reason for this? Why would they be? Why him? Why now? Why this story? We're going to be talking about that in great glory. And some other topics that I promise you will not be hearing or discussing, at least at this level, any place else, and perhaps for good reason. So in any event, dear friends, I ask you to please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And listen very carefully to this most critical word from our most important sponsor. If you keep your money in a bank account, listen up. Your savings could be at risk. The banking system is once again under extreme stress. And after last year's banking crisis, the dangers are clearer than ever. Car loans are defaulting. Credit card debt is ballooning. Commercial real estate is on the brink of collapse. These aren't just red flags. They are sounds of a financial ticking time bomb. But there is a safe and an easy way to protect your financial future. Gold. Gold is outside the government's reach and safe from economic policies that jeopardize your wealth. Gold allows you to lock in today's value in the face of tomorrow's uncertainty. Don't wait for the next headline or crash or bank run to act. Inaction could be catastrophic. Contact Noble Gold Investments today and safeguard your tomorrow. As a bonus, they'll give you a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin as a thank you for opening a qualified account. So visit LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com. Contact LionelNationGold.com to claim your gold coin. LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. They're not only going after Diddy, they're going after others as well. And you always have to make sure you look at the news stories kind of as a sampling. Look at these stories from this is what Drudge is sending out. By the way, they're really lower. They're laying on the advertising of Drudge, which must be doing very well. But look at these stories. FBI set to widen Diddy's sex probe. Remember, unless it's trafficking, unless it's sexual battery, unless it's something that involves non-consensual activity, just being a cat or a rake doesn't matter. Boasted about shooting people, bribing jurors, using j.lo as gun mule. Ooh, more creepy videos resurface. Why now? Why? What's this story? What's this thing about him now? Why? Why is this important? Why is this critical? You know, like I've said before, most people don't know anything about this. Most people do not know anything about this. And here was the best part about it. The best part. And I want, especially during this campaign season where we have this, it's so scary right now. Remember, there's 220 days until the election. 220 days. That's nothing. Think about that. 220 days. I want to say something to you, and I want to say this in a nice way. Let me see how I can do it. Folks, the woke radical left community does not like you if you're black. If you think somehow you are favored, you are absolutely most mistaken. If you think somehow that you fit into the matrix of this, you're out of your mind. If you believe this day is the Bobby Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson and the Great Society, forget it. Absolutely, 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 you're out of your mind. Glenn Hughes says, "Are you still mad at me?" I have no idea what that means, but thank you. Now, there's a couple of things here that white folks have to understand. Some of these, and I'm going to speak to you very, very clearly, just for whatever it's worth. Nobody has really understood what hip hop is about, and it scares folks. People have pretended. Nobody really understands. Nobody understands what the lyrics are, what it's about. Do you remember, as do I, when it came about? I'm a child of the 60s, and during my time, it was 60s, it was R&B and it was Motown. The greatest music, well, if not ever, one of the greatest. It was wonderful. And everybody understood everybody. In fact, maybe even James Brown, we used to say, I think we know what he's saying. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you can verify it. Country music allowed a certain amount of patois, a certain amount of veering. Blues, later on, there were some. You can hear some of the colloquialisms, and it has to do with maybe the age and the regionalism. So that's not a problem. I just did my private channel. I hope one day you join us on that. And I remember I loved to hear American colloquialism. I loved to hear Appalachian, Southern, you could hear Tennessee versus Texas versus Georgia versus Old Georgia versus Old Virginia, slower, more and there's so many variations of this. And I'll never forget when the police officers were on trial for killing Emmett Till. His grandfather or uncle or one of his relatives in court testified as to the people who came to their home that night. And this man stood up and he pointed. This was very courageous. In Jim Crow, this could have gotten him killed. And he pointed out the deputy or whoever it was, and he said, "Dar he." That was it. Dar, there, dar he. There he is, dar he. That's it. Regionalism. You can hear some, my God, you can hear some great Cajun, Arcadian. So we have and always have had an appreciation for bucolic. Justin Wilson, I guarantee. We love that. Then came hip hop. And that was okay. But then right around gangster rap, because remember when hip hop first started, it was wonderful. Remember we loved it? Remember first time you heard Sugar Hill Express? Rapper's Delight? It was the most beautiful thing in the world. Deborah Harry, who I think one could argue perhaps gave the first rap, one of the first raps. Gil Scott-Heron, I think, is one of the paterfamilias of American hip hop, who is one of my favorites. Oh, Lady Day and John Coltrane, Johannesburg. Anyway, The Bottle. Oh, Gil Scott-Heron, please, if you get the chance, just, oh my God. But the Fender Rhodes. Oh. Hank Snow actually gave us kind of a syncopated, I've been everywhere, man. Remember this song, Life is a Rock? Try singing that. Life is a rock. I heard it the other day and I could not believe anybody could even say that. So we've always enjoyed it. Everything was great. And then gangsta. Oh, it changed. It changed. What is this? NWA F the police. Wait a minute. Hold it. Oh, wait a minute. Compton and the Crips and the Bloods. And it's like, what is this? And I'm going to tell you something. This is what we noticed at the time. First, the profusion, the extravasation, if you will, of crack in the black community to wipe out huge swaths of the black community. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. I always have had my suspicions too about how some people allow AIDS to get out of the way, but that's for a different story. I'm not going to venture into that. But there was this thing. And then there was the change of penalties for crack versus powder, which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris later on, because they did not care for this particular faction. And they didn't care when all of a sudden these people got real rich, real fast, real quick, singing about effing the police and shooting people and gats and the gat and the cap your ass and all that stuff. And they never changed. They always resented that. Always. Till they made some money, but they resented it. Didn't like that. Never did. Never. And the best part about it is that Black America were deluded into thinking that this radical left group were their friends. Oh, we love you. Really? Really? Okay. See, these people they're very patient. It's not revenge, served warm or cold or no. It's always been a pat on the head and this patronizing, oh, we love you, as long as you make money. And when it comes to a lot of black folks or whatever, the white publishers rip them off, but there was never this. And by the way, Black America, the real celebrated, the real focus, the real uh, dedicated demographic of the radical left today is the illegal alien, not you. So say goodbye to civil rights and say goodbye to the Voting Rights Act. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for this. Believe me, you have been supplanted. So here comes Diddy. Everything they know about Diddy, now they've known forever. Forever. Everything he's said, everything he's done, everything. They knew about this. But now is different. Time's up. Tupac. Why is that important? You owe people. Suge Knight on a recorded phone, basically telling Diddy. Now remember, when you're in prison, this guy couldn't last a week. Okay? The left coast, this, and meanwhile, the shadow government, the deep state, the police state, the intel state, they looked at these folks and they did not care for them. No. And then all of a sudden, sometimes they'll just pull the plug on something. All of a sudden. Sometimes out of nowhere, you don't know. It's like, where the hell did that come from? Remember when they Dixie Chicked? The Dixie Chicks? What was that about? They said they didn't like Bush, and a lot of people didn't like Bush, but sorry. And they throw you off. Kathy Griffin. What happened to her? She held that thing up. Okay, it was gross, but whatever. But it was about Trump. Doesn't matter. It's weird. They always throw one at you that it's that learned helplessness. You can't figure it out. This is not okay. But Diddy with $100 million, what was that about? Now and I know. Somebody somewhere okayed this. You can't. I don't care who you are. I don't care. This guy, 3 properties, $100 million. This guy with balloon mortgages. And just come on. Now, also what's happening? He's embarrassed them because he's let them say, wait a minute, he's a paper tiger. How many other people are not liquid? How many people in Hollywood, in the world, are not what you think they are? How many people don't have as much as they say they are? How many billionaires aren't billionaires? This is something. Jay-Z has always wanted you to know he's the richest, right? And before they said that Diddy was a billionaire. This is Forbes. Forbes is normally pretty good. Forbes and Bloomberg, a billionaire. They were the same people who told you that the Kardashians, the model, that she's a billionaire. No, they're not. Never were. Never were. All of it is a mirage. And everybody knows it except the public. See, the public's a weird group. They're a weird, like middle America. Give an example. Remember when Ellen came out? Remember Ellen? She had the show Ellen on TV and she came out. Remember that? And people here that I know here in New York and in the comedy biz, I was doing that comedy thing for a while there and got to know a lot of folks. Everybody knows about Ellen. Middle America didn't. Kansas didn't know it. Ohio didn't know it. They didn't even know about Rosie. They didn't know this. This is how naive folks were. They don't know this. Do you know what happens if they find out, if they pull the curtain back and they say, Diddy's a fraud? Who else is a fraud? Ooh, they don't like this. And what happens if all of a sudden banks said, excuse me, we would like to kind of reevaluate this. We want to do a stress test on some of these billionaires that we've held up here. Oh, Diddy has opened up a can of worms. And then you find out the frauds. And there's a lot of folks out there who didn't like to see these folks walking around with scars and gold teeth and this and the F this and F and complete gibberish, unsophisticated, gross, rude, sexually inappropriate. And they swallowed it for a while. It's like, okay, as long as we're making money. Well, what happens if all of a sudden they say, yeah, let's go after these people? And then somebody says, wait a minute. Now, what I'm telling you, you're going to say, why now? Why now? Why didn't they know? Why Kathy Griffin? Why the Dixie Chicks? Well, I don't know. Something, they go like that, and that's it. And America loves to pile on. They love this. People hate. And here's this one too. This one came out the other night. Lizzo, this half-baked nothing that came right around BLM, who's basically, and whenever she came out, and she's a slob. I'm sorry. People said, oh, you're fat shaming. No, there are people, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problems, blindness, and the Black community. This is ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, this, I don't know what it was. Obesity is like saying smoking or drug use. Obesity is killing people. And this one, and then she has the lawsuits among her own crew. I mean, this was just, I mean, people thought, and that's why when they brought out this cadre of half-baked, half-assed, second-tier G-listers, it was a sign that the Democratic Party is over. Let me tell you this again. Where was De Niro? Where was Streisand? Where was George Clooney? Nowhere to be found, because they can smell a sinking ship, but I don't know what the hell that means. You smell a ship that's sinking? You know what I'm talking about. Oh, this is huge. Do you know what this does to all of a sudden people are saying, wait a minute. I'm not sure about these catalogs that people will put up for collateral, and I think Wall Street needs to kind of we need to look at music companies, how much are they making, and how's anybody making anything on Spotify? How much do people even make? How much? What's going? This is all because of Diddy. They are tired of him. And you know what happens, don't you? You know what happens. You know the best way to make an investigation go away, don't you? Is to make the subject of the investigation go away. And if you think that days of Epsteining somebody's ass is over, you just don't know how these folks work. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want you to listen to me. The moral of the story of Epstein was this: they got him in front of everybody. And if that got him, they can get anybody. This is a tumultuous change right now. This is a movement. This is huge. It's never just about Diddy. That's not what it's about. Wait till they start going after Tupac. And let me also tell you something. It's critical. Tupac was loved and beloved, and Biggie and others as well love these folks. This is, you might say, well, I don't care what you think. Do you know what would happen if all of a sudden, hey, listen, folks, and listen to me what I'm saying. This is where I would love to sit down and say, Kat, we need you on this one, okay? Maybe they'll listen to you. Kat, Chappelle, the real thinkers to come forward. The Joe Rogans to bring him in. And please, Kat, don't get whacked out of here. Don't get gooned and waxed like you did last time. My God. But do you know what this would be to say, ladies and gentlemen of the young community, my message is to you, not your parents. I can't do anything with them. They're gone. I want you. I want young Black folks to understand how this thing works. And let's take something. Let's let this be your red pill moment. Let you listen to what's going on. Listen to him. Listen to him. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what listen to this world, this facade, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Diddy, all of the gangster rappers and the sellouts. Where did they come from? And where did this, let me tell you something. Why don't you think they stopped gang? Let me ask you a question. Why didn't they stop the gangs in LA? Why? You don't think the federal government can stop gangs? Excuse me. I'm asking you a question. It's right here. Let's take Compton or this geographical area right here. This area right here. Not Venezuela, Medellin, Indonesia. No, right here. This one wears red. This one wears blue. Ta-da! Racketeering. Real racketeering. RICO. Why didn't they stop them? Why? Too busy killing each other. Let them at it. Who cares? Do it. Get rid of them. Knock yourself out. And then they can write songs about it. We can steal their music and make money off of that. If I went and we could somehow get a message to the young black community and say, wake up. We're on the same page. We may look different. We may be different ages, but we're still fighting this corruption, the shadow government, the deep state, the ruling class, the invisible government, the people who run everything. We may have different examples of it, but we're on the same page. And they're going to call you a conspiracy theorist. But let me ask you again, why didn't they stop this? The same folks that perfuse, if you don't think there's anything to this, come on. The same people who introduced cocaine into the black community wiped you out. I mean, decimated. Think about that. This group of people, and now you've got you are rocking the. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't understand this, and who do you think always sells you out? White folks? No. Black folks. Black folks. That's who sells you out. Oh, I envision a revolution, an intellectual, spiritual revolution, the likes of which you can't even conceive of. And it can be done. Stand by for a moment, shall we? Stand by. You know, one of the things which they were talking about with this, Baltimore Bridge, which the Key Bridge, Francis Scott Key, which is interesting to note. And this is very interesting, I think, very interesting, is that the diesel fuels, the fertilizer, I never realized that was a main artery. That was like the thymus gland. You don't know what the thymus gland does until something goes wrong with it. Same thing with that. It's just a bridge. Oh, it's a critical bridge. And when they talk about food, we still are in this country that believes that we can never be the subject of food, of all of a sudden stores being closed, of they're just being sorry, we're out of this. Listen carefully. And let me see if I can dispel that rumor. Let's talk about a very serious subject, emergency food. That's right, emergency food. Now, I know at first blush it's difficult for most people to think about something that they just take for granted, ever reaching, emergency status. We're used to stores always being open, deliveries always made, no supply chain disasters, no ransomware catastrophes, shutting down gas stations, no trucking strikes, no war, no protests from farmers, no mysterious Chinese weather balloons, nothing catastrophic in terms of weather. Well, that can't happen to us, right? And I understand it's a defense mechanism that we have because the idea of ever not being able to eat or locate food is seemingly incomprehensible to most people. But think about this. It's not. That's why it's time for you to go to my site, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com has the deal of deals for you. Take it as a starter set, an introduction set. You've been putting off emergency food for too long. Some people still have a thing about prepping as though prepping for emergency is foolish. Now, right now, you can save $200 on a 3-month emergency supply kit. This is unbelievable. 22 varieties with a 25-year shelf life, 25 years, 2,000 calories a day in 6 rugged buckets, 120 pounds of food. Could you go 3 months, 90 days if stores closed? Be honest. Could you go a week without any trips to the store? I don't think so. I'm not talking about having stuff in your cabinet. I'm not talking about banana chips and jerky. I'm talking about food, real food. So go right now to preparewithlionel.com. This moment, right now, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now and thank me later. Now, I don't want to hit you too much with this, but I want to talk about what tomorrow is. You ready for this? Tomorrow is, of course, Easter. And Joe Biden proclaims Easter Trans Day of Visibility and bans military kids from using religious themes to color Easter eggs. There's the link to my video. Now, let's talk about something right now, which is the most important. I want you to listen to what's happening because you got to know what they do. First and foremost, you got to sit back and ask yourself, why are they doing this? You know, when you are a fisherman and you're involved in hunting, you'll notice like, well, why are the bait fish here and why are they here and why are we seeing the daffodils early and what certain things are indicative of things. Why is it? And this is important. Why is it that the Democrats, and it's not Biden, but Biden is an animatronic. He does what they tell him to do. It's not his fault. But here's the deal. Why is it that all of a sudden, with 220 days to go, you think the Republicans would say, cut this shit out now. Just cut it out. We'll pick it up again later. No, they're doubling down. So tomorrow is Trans Day. Read it. Trans Day, not Easter. No. Trans Day. The most important day in Christianity. Now, do you think Joe Biden would pull this at Ramadan? No. Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or Hanukkah? No. But Christians, it's okay. You don't get the same affiliation that they do. Now, I want you to understand something. I don't give a damn whether you believe in Easter or not. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Understand what the government's telling you. Understand what the signal they're telling you. They're telling you that we're going to destroy everything about, and by the way, black folks, it's not just you, it's everybody else. Somebody emailed me, you understand, my friends, that I refer to us as the conspiratorium. And there are some wonderful folks, but one of the biggest bunch of a-holes is the person in our group who always wants to set you straight. The one who says, well, after all, Easter is a pagan holiday based on, Easter, and they love to do that. Bill Maher does that. I hate to tell you this. The timing of it, the equinox or whatever, that might be fine. But it is critical to understand the notion of the resurrection in Christianity. That is what it's all about. And this rancid group of people picked tomorrow. That's Trans Day, not Halloween. Easter. Why do you think that was? You know exactly what that was. And understand something too, which is critical. Easter is I'm a retired Catholic. I'm not recovering at all. I just said, thank you. And I've got no beef against the Catholic Church. And we've had some friends and people I've known who all of a sudden said, I kind of like going to a Catholic church. I said, well, good for you. Because I think spirituality is a wonderful thing. And if it's something that brings you solace and comfort and calm, God bless you. Mean it. whatever it is, whatever your thing is, whatever to think, to get away from this solipsistic, rude kind of a to think elsewhere is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. I really mean it. It's something that you should enjoy to the hilt. But there's a difference between Catholic Easter and Protestant Easter. And we'll talk about this some other time. But one is the emphasis on the crucifixion, the other one is the resurrection. That's one of the big deals. But at the same time, and listen to this. Listen to how these two-faced bastards, look what they do. President Trump decides he's going to be pushing or promoting the Make America Great Again Bible or something for $59.99. I don't know. And these hypocritical bastards who don't give a damn about God or Jesus or tradition or anything are jumping all over Trump because Trump is doing that. And they're bringing the likes of Al Sharpton, that charlatan, Al Charlatan, the CI for against the Genovese family. This guy, because I'm not a rat, I'm a cat. I still don't know what the hell he was talking about. Remember that he had a rat on the New York Post? He was a rat. I'm not a rat, I'm a cat. Okay, Dr. Seuss, thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate that. He was trying to explain he was cagey, I guess, by ratting out the mob. How he's alive. And though we wish no one harm, he is a con. And he was bought off by Bloomberg during his... No, we never heard about him during Bloomberg's term. Never. How much, Al? Shut up and go away. National Action Network. Oh, this guy's one of... Oh, what a... Anyway. So they're going after Trump because they're claiming Trump. How dare you sell a Bible? So these no good rat bastards, all of a sudden, these hypocrites, now they turn around and they go from 1 minute because they show this sense of absolute, fealty and tradition and love for the church and how dare you. The same people who allow this yokel to sign something, he doesn't even know what he's signing. Hell, he could sign a confession. He doesn't know. Who all of a sudden is now signing something. And tomorrow, Empire State, there's going to be all this trans business on Easter. The same people who are jumping on Trump for selling a Bible are now blaspheming, cursing, and destroying. By the way, try that. Try that on Ramadan. Try that on a day celebrated worldwide by Muslims. Now, there's a lot of folks, great Muslim people who don't really care one way or the other about sexuality. But there's a group of other ones who are not real crazy about that. He wouldn't do that. No way. No. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that against Jewish people. No. Are you kidding? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the way Biden and Bibi are like this? The way they pretend that they're fighting? Don't you love that one? That's my favorite. And I gave that Bibi a piece of my mind. And Bibi goes back to Israel. And I gave Biden a piece of my mind. Give me a break. Come on. Can you imagine Joe Biden on Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah? Never. Are you kidding me? He would rather cut off a limb than piss off Bibi or Israel or never. Or the Muslims. But Christians, no problem. No problem. How these people, religion today is money. Look at Joel Osteen. Look at the Catholic Church. Right off the bat, you're exempt from taxes. There was a time around the 80s when I became absolutely enthralled with evangelical Christians and faith healers. Absolutely enthralled by them. I was slain in the spirit by Ernest Angley. Personally, it didn't take. As you can probably see, it didn't take. By the way, I need 900 likes. Lizzie, do the work. 900 likes. Don't make me turn the den mother on you. 900. 900. Okay? I'm not going to say it again. Because that like puts us into a whole nother stratosphere, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the stuff that's going on. This is the jazz that just these hypocrites. I can't believe them. This is the part that just blows me away. That these hypocrites. You have no idea. We had this poor young man who's an NYPD officer. This young man who was killed, this Mr. Diller, Jonathan Diller. And basically, the mayor shows up. I think Alvin Bragg. I think they were trying to get Tish James, but the governor shows up and they told him, get out. These hypocrites. An uncle of the slain officer, Jonathan Diller, was the man who lashed out. I mean, let Hochul have it at New York Governor Kathy Hochul when she stopped by the wake on Friday afternoon, shouting that his blood is on your hands. The family member was going crazy on her. These people, these two-faced bastards who keep promoting this nonsense about no bail and defund the police, they don't care. They have no soul. And here's the best part. They seem to know they're going to win. They're not worried about it, pissing anybody off. You got 220 days to go. Seems like they know they're going to win. Have you noticed this? They don't care. They don't care. And going after Diddy now? They've known all this before. Why now? They're telling the black community, sorry, not interested. Do they know something? They act like they're going to win. They act like they don't care. They don't care about anything. And then this trans business on Easter. Do you see what's happening here? And they love to be the hypocrite. They look you right in the face. They're actually giving Trump grief over selling a Bible. I don't understand. And they bring in Al Sharpton. This is the thing which is the most important thing. And by the way, there's a story which is very interesting. This is real subtle. See if you can follow this one. You got to read between the lines on this. Eric Adams apparently was baptized. They went to Rikers. They went to some, jail here. And Al Sharpton, the Reverend Al Sharpton, what was he preaching at the age of 3? He could understand the concepts of Christianity and the Trinity and eschatology and are you kidding? Tell somebody who's spent their life at Yale Divinity School that some 3-year-old come on. The guy's been a con his whole life. The whole story about him. Anyway, so he baptizes Eric Adams. Eric Adams, by the way, is a vegan when he's not. And then he eat whatever it is. Even that story. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, who was picked up, they grabbed his phones, the FBI, and then something kind of, I don't know what, it just sort of went away. Along with his main fundraiser or whatever it was. Interesting. Just like Diddy. Isn't that interesting? Now, you might say to yourself, well, that's a good thing to go about prison ministries. After all, Johnny Cash did it, right? Merle Haggard, prison ministries. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Absolutely not. But what they're doing is they're promoting the Soros angle called restorative justice. And this is what you got to pay attention to. Restorative justice. See, what they're going to be doing is this. If you think no cash bail is good, you ain't seen nothing yet. Restorative justice works like this. We're not going to use the criminal justice system anymore as a means of punitively keeping people down. No. That's not right. What we're going to use this for is to reintroduce these miscreants, these poor fallen people, to bring them back into society, have them be reacquainted with maybe those people whom they've terrorized, ravaged, savaged. And we're going to transform. It's going to be a restorative justice, a transformational approach to reconsider, review, reconsider, revisit, reinvent the whole notion of carceral punishment. That's exactly what this is, to release these people. But if you're Donald Trump, wow, different story. Different story completely. By the way, Trump played the Jonathan Diller funeral so perfectly. He went there and they wanted to kiss him and how he kissed babies. I mean, you have no idea. They love him. And if ever you want to know how much of what he stands for is legit, if you ever have, just wow. And while 3 presidents were at Radio City with these half-baked, half-assed, G-list losers like Lizzo, Queen Latifah, I'm sorry, what year is this? And other people, nobody knows who the hell they are. And not the A-listers. Think about this. I can't say this enough. Not Clooney. Not Alec Baldwin. He lives here. Oh, Alec Baldwin, they've all turned their back on him. You ever think about that? If Ron Howard or Clint Eastwood even, and he was a Republican, but they kind of like him. If Scorsese or somebody was involved in this, they would come out of the woodwork and say, don't you understand? This is what we do. This is the risk we have. That's like the circus falling from the tightrope, the trapeze. It's like rodeo, like race car. It's not one person came to help because they can't stand him. Why? The technical term is because Alec Baldwin's a dick and they hate him. And that wife of his who fakes the accent, Hilaria, you call it cucumber. By the way, cucumber is the Jadrul reference. Because she wants to do this. We're going to be doing this family, she still, nobody cares about, reality TV. That's done. Nobody cares about that. Even the Real Housewives, that whole thing that's in the past. But Hilaria, the yoga instructor, is going with Alec Baldwin to make everything okay. ¿Me entiende? ¿Oíste? I mean, they're collapsing. They're just collapsing. But if I didn't know better, they think they're going to win because they keep doing this stuff at the last minute. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please pay very careful attention as to what's going on. And one more thing I'm going to tell you. Today was like 60 degrees and it was like freezing. I have no idea why. And sometimes there's nothing better than to get into your bed, get into your bunk bed, and get out your nice percales, your nice duvet, your nice pillows, your nice comforters, your nice slippers and slides and bathrobes and PJs. Now, let's see. If I had to buy those at a great price, with a great quality, and I wanted to use the promo code Lionel, where would I go? Well, it's time yet again to hail and salute our great friends at MyPillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. I know, a free gift. Gifts are free. Okay, it's a tautology, so sue me. But listen to me and listen carefully. What are we talking about here? Down comforters, flannel sheets, Giza Dream bed sheets, MyPillow 2.0 body pillows, waffle blankets, couch and recliner pillows, sheets, slippers, percales. I'm not even done yet. Towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, pet blankets, bolster pillows, name it. Items to help you luxuriate and relax. And their monster sellers, slippers, my slippers, slip-ons, moccasins. Think about it. What do they do at MyPillow? What's their main goal? To make things real soft, plush, real comfy, or comfy as I say it. How perfect. So here's the link right now. Go to mypillow.com/Lionel. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel or /Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. 800-645-4965. And watch how fast our good friend Mike Lindell answers the phone. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, simply and absolutely the best. All right, my friends, one thing you can do also, I want to tell you, this is so important, and you have been terrific. I want you to make sure you, tonight, immediately, now, as we speak, I want you to subscribe to Lynn's Warriors, Lyns Warriors. Sometimes they put Lynne. I don't know why. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Subscribe. You're going to be hearing and seeing stories and guests from people that are going to blow your mind, and nobody does it like she does. It's the number one site. And by the way, her X or YouTube, X or Twitter, I can't say X, is Lynn's Warriors also, Lynn's _. I can tell you right now, the people who go and pick up everything, all the stories she puts, it's like she's an aggregating. She's like the Drudge Report for people who are interested in wiping out predation and child trafficking. So do me a favor. It is the best site, and it's wonderful. She is devoted every single waking day to it. Also, dear friends, here's something interesting to note. On April the 4th, 4/4. Interesting? I think so. By the way, Elizabeth Sorellis is a new member. Thank you, Lizzie. Appreciate that. On there is this day, I'm going to be at this place called the Metropolitan Republican Club. Beautiful old townhouse, Upper East Side. I'm going to be there. Mrs. L, we're going to have and some other guests, but we're going to have a fireside chat with Dick Morris, who has never made more sense in his life than now. And here is the link right there. We are not making a penny on this. This is not for us. This is to spread the holy word of truth. So there is the link right there. You can go right there. It's the Eventbrite. You can go to our social media as well. That's April the 4th. If you're in the neighborhood, be terrific. We got to go out and spread the word, okay? And I don't mean talking about whatever we talk about, but the holy word of truth. Because I'm telling you right now, these are very perilous times right now. Very, very, very perilous times. Now, I hope I've given you something to think about. I hope I've given you a unique way of looking at things. And I want you to look at the Diddy thing very carefully. And my dream is to, remember KRS-One? He was terrific. Do you remember him by any chance? He was, oh man, he used to be on years ago with, no, I'm sorry, not KSR. That's a KSR is KRS-One. That's right. He was from the Bronx, also known as Teacher, one of the smartest. When Alex first came about, when Alex was Alex, in the days of the Wild West, when the internet was terrific, he was absolutely one of a kind. We need to get him back. We need to get to the black community and say that the Democrats are selling you out. They are not your friends. Pay attention. All right, your friends, in any event, thank you. Tomorrow, we will be in the morning, 8 a.m., on our Easter show. On Easter Eve, I wish you all a happy Easter. Remember what it is. Anytime human beings care about something other than themselves, the world benefits. Thank you so very much. And again, to Glenn Hughes and to Elizabeth Sorellis, thank you so much. All right, dear friends, wait a minute. Ramona says, Wonderful as always. Oh, thank you. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Thank you, Ramona. That means a lot to me. All right, dear friends, have a great night. I hope everybody's got their little peeps. By the way, what are your favorite, if I could, please? What are your favorite Easter candies? I mean, let's face it, you can peeps, I never got into, but there was something, I don't know about now, but there is something that is in Cadbury that is, I think, a form of crack. What is the look at this peep. What is the candy that makes you go crazy? It makes you go absolutely berserk. What is the one? What is this? What is chocolate rabbits? There's something about this. Chocolate bunnies. Think about that. What else is there? Nerds. I don't. Oh, Edwin says caramel or caramel or camel. Cadbury cream eggs. I'm telling you, those things. Reese's and cold milk. I can't believe you said this. In my day, Reese's peanut butter cups frozen. Frozen. Eric likes green straw. Eat the eyes of the chocolate bunny. Peeps. Think about peeps. What did they do other than the peep is do you ever see when kids go looking for the eggs? Isn't that fun to see them out there with their basket? They'd love to find them. And did you ever dye your E's? Frozen Reese's are awesome indeed. Did you ever dye your egg? Remember the stuff called pet? What's it pet? What's it called? Pez or Pez? You would color the eggs and you put a little thing around it, and it's like, what do I do with these things? I don't know. But that was wonderful. All right, my friend. Ramona loves bullseyes. What are those? I have no idea. Maybe you know these things. Paz, P-A-A-S. Versus, that's right, versus Pez, versus the dispenser. Paz or P-A-A-S. Yes, 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 yes. All right, dear friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. We'll see you 8 a.m. And don't forget, until then, my friends, remember the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.